Have you ever thought about traveling into the past or future? Where would you go? Who would you visit? What would you see? In this episode, we are going to take a close look at 3 of the most convincing time travel stories and let you decide for yourself the answer to the question, is time travel possible? Let's begin this episode of the Faith and Mystery Files. Before we delve into the stories, let's look at the concept of time travel. What does it mean? Time travel is the process or idea of going into a different reality or time period, either the past or the future. Traveling into any sector of space in which the year and times are changed would be considered time travel. However, this concept is not always described as going into a capsule or machine to transfer to another place. There have been many cases of people claiming to have briefly gone to another era without having done anything out of the ordinary. The first recorded document of this idea is said to have originated around 400 BC in India. A Sanskrit poem entitled Mahabharata describes a king that was looking for a good suitor for his daughter to marry. In the story, it states that they needed to go to heaven and listen to a song. However, when they return, they realize many years have passed. Everyone they knew had died, but in the end, the daughter was given to a suitable man to marry. The famous author H.G. Wells is said to be the first to write about time traveling by using a machine. He wrote The Time Machine in 1985, in which a man known only by the phrase time traveler goes back and forth in between time with a machine made of crystal, ivory, and brass. There are numerous books, movies, and television shows about time travel, including the well-known Back to the Future series. But are there any true stories about people who have traveled in time? The following are 3 of the most convincing time travel stories in existence. In this episode, we are letting you decide for yourself if they are true or not. John Titor. The John Titor story began in 1998. An American soldier by the name of John Titor faxed various letters to a nightly science fiction radio host. Throughout various written faxes, it stated that he was writing into the radio program to tell others that time travel was real. He said that he was from the year 2036. He went on to say that CERN had created in 2034 a time travel machine that worked. Titor also explained that the way the machine operated was by using specific singularities, or gravitational mathematics that currently are considered almost impossible to complete. With these singularities, one would rotate them within a magnetic field. He stated further that when changing the speed and the direction of the rotation, travelers could create the possibility to travel either forwards or backward in time. John Titor also gave examples of the outcomes he said had been experienced. One was where the person meets themselves as a younger or older person. He stated that he had taken his younger self on various trips through time and returned himself and his younger self to the appropriate years. Another outcome was having the ability to go back in time and change history. He stated that most of the things he witnessed in which others had made different were books and car models. Many of the books and cars that had previously been released strangely wouldn't be available until years later. Titor also stated that everyone who used time travel was having a difficult time going past the year 2500. One of the last letters John Titor sent to the radio host said that he was getting ready to leave, as the mission he was on finally finished, which took longer than he anticipated. He also said he had become friends with many of the people in 1998 and was finding it hard to say goodbye. No one heard from John Titor again until the year 2000. On November 2nd of that year, John resurfaced on the website Time Travel Institute within their forum. There he went under the username time_traveler_0. The first message he typed was the following. Greetings. I am a time traveler from the year 2036. I'm on my way home after getting an IBM 5100 computer system from the year 1975. My time machine is a stationary mass temporal displacement unit manufactured by General Electric. The unit is powered by two top-spin dual positive singularities that produce a standard offset Tipler sinusoid. I will be happy to post pictures of the unit. He later went on to answer questions other forum members asked, and stated that he stopped in the year 2000 for personal reasons. He also went on to advise others that they should do their best to keep themselves safe by being aware of their surroundings. Titor even claimed that he had prevented a great war that supposedly should have happened in 2000. He even discussed with other online members that a terrible conflict would happen in 2012, with a short World War III in 2015. He was wrong about the last two statements. However, do you think he helped prevent those events from happening as well? His last message was sent on March 24, 2001, in which he said that only a handful of people would know that he was leaving to go back to his timeline. Titor gave two analogies of why he was leaving. He said that many time travelers would try to help others, but the travelers were putting themselves at risk. Many would not believe his story, and he realized it would be better to leave than to drastically change the world, as he was uncertain of how the outcome would turn out. No one has heard from John Titor since. Andrew Basiago. Attorney Andrew Basiago has claimed to be a part of a special task force since the age of 6. The assignment was called Project Pegasus and recruited around 140 children to test the effects of time travel. These children were chosen because of their high intellect and understanding capacity. Andrew Basiago states that he first became introduced to the program in 1967. His father, along with his father's co-workers, were hired by DARPA and the CIA. The company his father worked for was Ralph M. Parsons Company. Andrew was officially recruited in 1969 to participate in the project as a chrononaut. He went on to say that his father had been time traveling for several years with the Curtiss-Wright Corporation before Andrew's first travel. Andrew Basiago explained that the time machine had been created when a detailed blueprint was found in Nikola Tesla's apartment after his death on January 7, 1943. Basiago went on further to state that the machine consisted of two gray elliptical booms about 8 feet tall, separated by about 10 feet, between which a shimmering curtain of what Tesla called radiant energy was broadcast. Radiant energy is a form of energy that Tesla discovered that is latent and pervasive in the universe, and has among its properties the capacity to bend time-space. Overall, he is said to have traveled about 8 times during the program. One particular trip was in 1972, in which he stated that he had traveled to the Gettysburg Address given by Abraham Lincoln. It was here that the well-known picture was taken. Basiago said that the boy in the middle of the photograph was him at age 10. The photograph was taken on November 19, 1863. Basiago said that the reason he was somewhat by himself was because of his shoes. Before each launch, the children who participated would be given clothing that would match the era of where they were going. However, the shoes he had been given were somewhat too large. He said that he felt like it made him look out of place and was going away from the crowd to look less suspicious. Interestingly, he finished participating in the program that same year. Did Andrew Basiago actually travel in time with a program called Project Pegasus? Al Bielek. Born in 1927, Al Bielek was known for his memorization skills starting at an early age. Many called him a walking encyclopedia. Soon after high school, Bielek was recruited by the Navy because of his skills in computer electronics. Beginning in 1943, he worked as a naval officer on the USS Eldridge. This particular ship was known to be part of the Philadelphia experiment. The USS Eldridge was thought to have been one of the first naval ships to use a new type of cloaking device. The ship was to power a magnetic field that would make them invisible to other countries' radar systems. On August 13, 1943, the magnetic cloaking device was said to have been turned on at full power. However, they did not expect what would happen next. Numerous witnesses stated that a blue-green hue suddenly appeared over the hull of a ship, and within moments, it disappeared. Several hours went by before the ship reappeared at the Norfolk Naval Shipyard in Norfolk, Virginia. Yet instead of the crew getting to the docks, it once again completely vanished, only to be seen moments later in Philadelphia. When officials got on board, many of the men were said to have had severe burns and be somewhat disoriented. Classified documents are stated to have recorded that a few men were melded within the ship. When Al Bielek was interviewed, he, along with a few other men, stated the strange occurrences that had happened to them. Bielek said that when the ship disappeared, the crew had somehow gone to the year 2137. While there, he, along with his brother and other crew members, were treated for radiation burns in a high-tech hospital. The burns were remedied with specialized light systems. He also stated that much of the Earth had changed within the year 2137. The coastline was vastly different compared with current maps in the 1940s. Al Bielek stated that the United States and Canada were almost fully wiped out, and learned that another world war had occurred in the year 2025. He went on to further state that at one point he traveled to the year 2749, noting that much of the world was controlled completely by AI. That year, there were no more wars. Everyone lived off of a credit system that allowed everyone to get whatever they needed. After learning more about 2749, he was sent back to 2137 to pick up his brother and other crew members that had not gone along with him. That is when all of them came back to the year 1943 at Norfolk Naval Station, and eventually back to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Al later went on to work with military contractors, but in 1956, while living in Hawaii, it is stated that he was recruited to work on the Montauk project. This project was rumored to be a mind control testing program. In order to work efficiently, it was stated that they had a teleportation system within the program for directors and other members to use. Did Al Bielek travel to another time? Was the Philadelphia experiment real? These three stories share a few similarities. They also differ at points, but it's up to you. Are these stories true events of time travel? What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Faith and Mystery Files. Until next time, may God bless you.